Welcome to Dejobnik, your command post for clarity and perspective.
I would like to invite His Excellency, Mr. Gilad Erdan, Israel's ambassador to the United Nations, for his opening remarks. Ambassador.
Good morning, everyone. Oh, I feel the energy. I would like to begin, first of all, by thanking my dear friend, Minister Mai Golan, Israel's Minister for Social Equality and the Advancement of Women, for joining us today. Thank you, Mai. I want to thank our keynote speaker, Keren Munder, a woman of unbreakable resolve who spent 49 days held hostage by Hamas in Gaza with her 9-year-old son Ohad and her mother Ruthie. Keren, you and all the other released hostages and their families here with us today are true symbols of strength. I would also like to extend my gratitude to our esteemed panelists who have traveled from around the world to be with us today. Anila, I want to thank you for being a leader dedicated to building bridges between Jews and Muslims. Continue speaking truth to power. Yeah, she deserves it. And Jacqueline, beyond being the founder of the global initiative Inspire, you are a source of immense inspiration for girls and women across the globe. Your presence here means the world to us. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Friends, on October 7th, the Jewish people suffered the most brutal and widespread massacre since the Holocaust. And while we will always remember the atrocities of that dark day, there are also countless stories of sheer bravery. So many of these heroes are women. On October 7th, and in the aftermath of Hamas's heinous attack, there were courageous women on the front lines fighting like lionesses. They defended military bases and communities and saved countless lives, sometimes paying the ultimate price. Right now, as we speak here, there are female soldiers defending Israel in Gaza and protecting our borders in the north. But the bravery of Israeli women extends beyond the military. The wives of Israel's reservists have been the backbone of Israeli society for the past 5 months, taking care of their families, but also taking care of the country. This is the power of Israeli women, unmatched perseverance. And today, we recognize their courage. Friends, 157 days ago, Hamas carried out acts of evil that shook us to our cores. While Hamas's barbarity initially shocked the world and many expressed their support for us, it was a matter of days before the tide began to turn. Support turned to opposition. Consolation turned to condemnation. And here, at the United Nations, an institution founded in the wake of the Holocaust to prevent atrocities and the systematic murder of civilians, the politicized anti-Israel majority is aiding the Hamas monsters by calling for a ceasefire that would ensure the terrorist survival. There were no calls for a ceasefire when the Allies fought the Nazis or when the world battled ISIS or Al-Qaeda. But tragically, the moral depravity of the UN is not only displayed through its demonization of Israel while we fight in defense of our citizens. It is also seen through the UN's indifference towards Israeli victims, particularly the suffering of Israeli women. Last week, the world marked International Women's Day. And over the coming days, and that's why we are here today, the Commission on the Status of Women is convening here in this very building. Yet, the UN's, shamefully, the UN's silence has turned these events into a heartbreaking joke. Mere days ago, Pramila Patten, the UN Special Representative on Sexual Violence in Armed Conflict, released her report on the sexual violence perpetrated against Israeli women during Hamas's attack. According to the report, listen to this, Israeli women suffered severe sexual violence, including rape, gang rape, and even necrophilia. And above all, the report states that there is clear information that hostages taken by Hamas have been and continue to be subject to rape and sexualized torture. Right now, as we sit here, there are Israeli hostages being defiled in Hamas terror tunnels. Days have passed, yet the UN's overwhelming reaction has been inaction. Silence. Deafening silence. Just this morning, as the Commission on the Status of Women convened, the Secretary General proved, once again, and I'm sorry that I would have to say it, he proved that he cares more about ensuring the survival of terrorists than our hostages. The Secretary General prefers to abandon our female hostages in the hands of genocidal rapists. So sad. Sima Bahous, the Executive Director of UN Women, hasn't said one word about the report. Not even one word. What a disgrace. And when it comes to Israeli victims of terror, silence is the UN's modus operandi. To date, not a single UN body, believe it or not, not a single UN body has condemned Hamas for their crimes. Not the General Assembly, not the Security Council, and not the notorious Human Rights Council. The Security Council has convened 30 times since October 7th to focus only on the situation in Gaza. Today will be only the first time they dedicate a meeting to the hostages and their safety. It is unfathomable that the body mandated to preserve global security has almost totally ignored the plight of our hostages for over 5 months. We all thought that the use of rape and sexual violence as weapons of war was a thing of the past. But Hamas has carried these war crimes and bigotry into the 21st century. This is precisely why Israel must continue the war against Hamas. Israel must eradicate Hamas's capabilities to ensure that atrocities such as rape and sexual violence can never be committed again. Never. At today's Security Council meeting, I expect every council member to stand up for Israeli women, to stand up for our hostages. The Council must finally condemn Hamas for their crimes, designate Hamas as a terror organization, and apply relentless pressure on Hamas to turn themselves in and release the hostages. This is the only way to achieve a real ceasefire. Dear friends, while the UN's silence is disgraceful, it is not as shocking as the indifference of some supposedly liberal democracies. When it comes to standing up for Israeli women, these countries and their women's rights activists have chosen silence. Where are the protests? Where are the rallies? Where are the social media influencers, politicians, women's rights advocates, and social justice warriors? It is not clear that if Hamas doesn't pay a heavy price, sexual violence will become a weapon of war and terror the world over? The report is out. The proof is there. The whole world should be screaming from the rooftops. But from the overwhelming majority, we hear silence, deafening silence. This silence cannot continue, and I am proud of each and every one of you here today for your bravery, leadership, and moral clarity. It is our responsibility as leaders and activists to expose the hypocrisy and make our voices heard. And today, as we tell stories of Israeli women's courage, we must ensure that this message echoes from the walls of this room, through the halls of the UN, and around the globe. The stories of both the heroes and victims of October 7th must be forever memorialized. The suffering of the hostages must not be forgotten for 1 second, and the world must quake with our calls for their release. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Drop a comment below. Don't forget to like, share, and hit subscribe to stay updated with our latest content. Until next time, stay informed and inspired. This is Dejobnik signing off.